Welcome, everyone, to the first episode of the Boomer Bytes Podcast. I'm your host, Augie Anderson, and today my guest is Sarah Stroud, who's been a very longtime friend of mine, and she too is what I refer to as a pro-age boomer. Sarah, what do you think about pro-age boomer? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, first of all, Augie, thank you for having me on the podcast with you. I'm so excited for your new adventure here. When you first mentioned to me pro ager, I was kind of like, what's that? I really didn't know. And then when you explained it to me, I was like, oh shit, that's really good because, it's something different than baby boomers, and not everybody likes the word baby boomers. So pro agers, I think that's awesome. I love it.
Yeah. The reason I chose that, and I honestly referred to myself before as that prior to seeing other places of that term being used. So that was kind of an interesting facet. And the reason I use being a pro age boomer or you're a pro age baby boomer is we are nothing like what our grandparents were at our ages. Boomers were born between 1946 and 1964. So some are older, some are a bit younger. But I feel like pro age defines us because we are healthier, we're more vibrant. I mean, somebody that was my age, I'm happy to say what my age is. I'm 68 years old. You know, 50 years ago, someone 68 years old looked like what 86 years old looks like today. And even 86-year-olders are looking great because my mom's 90 and she looks amazing. So the reason I decided to do this podcast, Sarah, is, we've gone through a lot of turmoil in our country in these past few years. And I feel like some of us, not all of us, we've slipped away from living our best life. I know I'm one of them that kind of slipped away from living my best life. And it occurred to me that, oh my gosh, there's got to be other people like me in the same situation because baby boomers are transitioning on so many different levels. We are reorganizing, prioritizing, downsizing. We're reshifting our lives in many ways. We've lost spouses like I did. I've lost a sibling. I've lost a child. That's really traumatic to go through. And I know you've recently lost siblings. You lost your parents a while ago, but your mother in law, you've gone through the same thing with, well, that's one facet loss. But at our age now we're losing friends and siblings. And I think that's hard, Sarah, don't you?
Yes, I think it's very hard because we're emotionally connected to our friends and we love them. And yes, loss is hard and loss takes a while to recover from. And at our age, we want to bounce back quickly, but we also realize, hey, more, I had more moments in the past than possibly I have left. So when we share
Oof.
that loss of somebody else, it can do a couple of things. We can either get sad and kind of go in a deep hole about it, or it can awaken us to like, okay, my sweet friend gave me a reminder that we have to live for today and we need to get busy and stay focused. So thank
Yeah,
you.
I agree with you, Sarah, 1000%. And because I realize life is so fleeting, I think it's so important to forgive easily, love big, forgive easy. It's harboring things that just don't matter, especially with family members. Friends, they come and go, but family members are a whole different mode of thinking. And I just feel like forgive easily because time is fleeting. You're here today, gone tomorrow. I lost my husband Jay at 58 years old. I was not prepared to lose him. And I'm going to do a whole episode on loss. We're just kind of covering the whole thing. So I'm just kind of delving in this ever so slightly because I think it's a big thing happening to
Mhm.
us right now. I think loss is one of the biggest things. Some people that even lost their jobs, I mean, from retirement, are struggling to go, who am I now? They identified as this.
Mhm.
Who am I now as this new individual to reinvent myself? And you just have to want to. It all begins with just a desire. So that's just one of the things. Like my dad had Alzheimer's. I know other friends who've had their parents or even a sibling that have some form of dementia or Alzheimer's. It's very, very difficult because you're so disconnected from those people. And so that's another facet. And retirement and all the things we need to know about retirement and Medicare and oh my God, the list goes on and on and on. So the thing is don't let don't let these things rob you of your joy. I want to focus on the joy because there's still plenty of joy. Do you agree, Sarah?
Absolutely. I know it's like some of the tasks are daunting and they're difficult and they take a lot longer to resolve than what we want. But at the same time that we're going through that little path to get something resolved doesn't mean that we can't look up and go, oh, the sky's blue today. Oh, I got music in the background. Oh, okay, so I'm on hold for 45 minutes with Spectrum, but hey, I got this guy singing in my ear, and you got to find the joy. There's always joy around. There's always joy
Yes,
around. You just have to
always joy.
you just have to look at it and focus on that, not the issue that we're dealing with at that moment.
Yeah, I feel like you have to feel what you feel. I'm not saying don't feel what you feel, but don't swelter in these things that do have solutions, all of them. To me, there's always a solution. You might not like all the solutions, but there is always a solution.
Yes.
And I feel like at our age, we are thriving. We can be thriving, living our best life. To me, living my best life is enjoying my family and friends. I love to travel. I love being with my kids and my grandkids, my friends, going out to dinner, seeing wonderful places. And me, I'm not retired because I choose not to. I'm shifting. I was a realtor for 30 years, and I will be doing a form of real estate as a FISBO advisor. That's on my website as well, but I'm not getting into that. But I am no longer the career real estate person I was. I'm shifting into something new. And guess what? It's scary as hell. Am I going to be good at this? Am I going to do it right? The technical problems have been surmounting. Okay. But I will not be defeated. And I want to help other people. I know I have a voice, Sarah. When I was on Phil Donahue, yes, I was on Phil Donahue in the 80s, a feature. I realized then I could reach millions of people with a message. And my message at that time was blending families after divorce. That was a bit, people were ugly and they didn't share their lives. Now it's very, very different. But I was a proponent of that. I know I was. And this is the same thing. This is my message of let's unite. Let's share our stories. Let's share. If you're doing something great, I want to know about it. Sarah wants to know about it. Our
Definitely.
friends
Yeah.
that are part of this community want to know about it. So, living our best life can be a challenge now because of all the factors we just talked about. Even traveling. One of my guests will be a very good friend of mine, Vicky. She travels a lot. People are afraid to go to other countries now. You need a visa, or you will need it. I don't know that they passed it completely yet, but you will need a visa now to go to European countries. There's so many things to know, and as we're getting older in this technological age, I feel like we can get very overwhelmed with data. What do you think, Sarah?
Oh, I agree, and I don't want to admit it because I have been pretty savvy, yesterday in the past, with all such things. However, we have so many new things, and my hands are a little slower. I my thought processes are a little bit slower, not because of any issue other than I like to ponder, but I am a little slower at getting some of this stuff, and it just comes at you so fast, and it's all great stuff. I mean, I hear AI and this and that, and make this easier and make that easier, and you're like, okay, is it a one touch button easier? No, not always. So, yeah, it's kind of complicated, but hey, we're the smartest people on the planet. And so there's no doubt us pro agers, baby boomers, uh, we got this. We can figure it out. Might just take us a hot minute.
It's taken me a hot minute, trust me. It really has. But it's worth the time and effort that I've been investing to do this. One of the things I do want to mention, Sarah, a big thank you to you. Sarah did a really great guide that will be available, as I mentioned earlier. That guide is just a kind of overview of things we're talking about today. And maybe we didn't even broach the subject, but it's a very good information. And you'll be able to find that guide about embracing being a baby boomer, and that will be at the boomerbytespodcast.com, episode 1. So thank you, Sarah, for taking the time to do that, because learning all this stuff and buying equipment that I needed, I don't know that I could have accomplished that mission. So I'm very grateful to you that you put that together for me, us.
You're welcome. And I'm very excited. I can't wait to hear the first podcast. I can't wait to see the first video. And I can't wait to see everything that you bring forth to us. And it's appreciated.
Well, thank you. My topics, honestly, when I started planning this podcast, it was the beginning of 2024. And I was already pondering just doing something different because, I've been real estate has been a wonderful career for me, but I want to do something different now. I feel like I've done that. I've done it a long time. Let the younger people do it now. I even stayed up with the technology with it. I still do, but I've really changed my I guess expertise to help for sale by owners, and that's kind of my niche now. And those for sale by owners, many of them are baby boomers. So it's another service to my people, to my tribe, because I want to save them money. The climate has changed, the market has changed, and I want to do good. That's the whole purpose of this podcast is do good. When you do good, you make the world better. And the world is shaky right now. And us do-gooders like you and me and many of the guests that I'm going to have, we care. We care about people. We care about more than just ourselves. We care about not just our generation, but future generations. We have grandchildren and children that are the Gen Xers and the Zers and whatever they are. I can't keep up with all that. I know I'm a baby boomer. That's what I limit myself to, a pro-age baby boomer. So we have a lot. We have to keep teaching the younger generation. We have to be setting examples. We have to set the tone. Sarah, do you agree?
Oh, definitely do I agree. You could see the expression on my face well up when you started talking about it because you and I have off the air conversations quite a bit. And girl, you mentioned it first, and it is absolutely correct. Do we have so much stuff to talk about?
So much stuff.
To
Yes.
talk about,
So my
and
topic list,
that's a big
when
one.
I started researching about doing a podcast, they said, well, you have to have topics. And I started just a laundry list. I have 30 topics already with subtopics to the topics. I don't feel like I'm ever going to run out of material. I'll be in a rocker before I run out of material. So there's so much to say and there's so much to share about helping people And it helps me too. I mean, it helps me too. I'm not without like issues and problems. My mom's 90. She's had more health issues now. She's still in great shape. You just helped me. Thank you with my mom. She had to go to the doctors, but she's doing great. But she's also, her health has changed. It's changed. She broke her hip and it's changed. And then, I can't move away. I can't leave my mother. I mean, when I say I can't, I don't want to.
Right.
I don't want to leave my mother. I don't want my mom to be suffering in any facet of with family. She counts on me and my husband Ray. She's very self-sufficient. She's still driving. She's still cooking. She's amazing.
Yeah.
And I feel like my mom's going to be one of my guests, but you're going to have to help me be a guest with her, Sarah.
That'll be a blast.
Yeah, she's got to be sitting next to you because I don't think I can get my mom to do the computer side of things. Although my mother, I want to say she may have been in her 60s when she started to learn how to use a computer. Maybe it was late 50s. I'm trying to remember. 2002. How long ago is that, Sarah? Can you do fast math? That's when my stepdad died, and my mom goes, I'm just going to get rid of the computer. Oh, no, you're not. I taught her email. I taught her how to use a computer. Now at 90, she can order from Amazon. She's on Facebook. And she was, even for a while, she doesn't do it anymore, doing her own travel arrangements, but I do that now. So she still looks at Facebook. She loves her computer. She has an iPad. She has a smartphone. I mean, these are the people today.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have a name for that generation before us, but they are way different than we are. Even the next generation from 46, those people prior to that are older, they have cell phones. They're amazing. They can do text messaging. They can do everything.
Yes, they can.
So we now, to me, we also have that component of, we birthed digital natives. They came into the world with computers. We did not. So that's that's a topic all by itself. The digital age and being a part of it. And, some people are, I don't want to be on Facebook. It's ridiculous. I love Facebook. And I'm going to tell you why. It keeps me connected to my family in Europe. I have a lot of family in Hungary. I know you have a lot of family in different states. What's your thoughts about that?
Absolutely. That was the main reason when I moved here to Florida, and left my family behind in other states. I was like, that was the first thing I did, was setting up my Facebook page for Florida, and definitely I just like told my kids, let's communicate through Facebook. We go on Facebook Messenger. We use Facebook Messenger video to talk to each other in person, just like you and I are doing right now. I get to see the kids grow up when I can't always be there. And because you can do Facebook at my granddaughter's concert and I'm watching it. I watched their graduation from high school because of COVID and they didn't have anything. So I would have missed all that if I would have had the mentality that I don't like Facebook. I would have missed all that.
Yes. That's so
Yes,
true.
I can
And
call them and I could talk to them, but to see them and to look at them and to know that they're okay and to talk real with them, like seeing them plus hearing them, I think it's a beautiful thing. And also, I get to see all the fun and quirky and beautiful things that they put on Facebook and Instagram and other platforms because I miss them. And so that is my connection.
Yes. And my mom, I said, when she was resistant, of course, to learning Facebook. Oh, I don't want to have to do that. It's going to be hard. Mom, this is how the world operates now. You'll get to see them go to their prom. You get to see special moments. They're not going to send you hard copy photos. Do you remember hard copy photos? You'd send them in the mail to your family and friends of like, oh, here my kid. We were here on doing this and doing that. I particularly like the Facebook medium. There's some things I don't like about it. I don't like the way they did the business and all that stuff. But in terms of what Facebook's intention was from the beginning of connecting people, that to me is the special part of
Mhm.
Facebook.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful too that I have a group for my entire family. It's called Margot's American Hungarian Group. And it's all my mom's the matriarch of our family and all the people, because you don't get to see each other feeds. When I think there's something special I really want everyone to see, if I put it in the group, everyone tends to see all of it.
Mhm.
So it's nice. That's something I'll recommend to people. Have a family group. It's just for your family. It's private. Nobody else can really comment or participate without, they can't just come into your private group.
Right.
And that's another special way to have connection with family. And there's really no friends in that group. It's strictly
Right.
family
Family.
members.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes.
strictly family members. So that's like a whole nother twist and turn as well. And fun things to do. Like, I love going dancing. I love going socializing. Not everybody loves to do that, and that's fine and dandy, but do things you love to do. Be careful about becoming a couch potato, because it's very easy to fall into that trap. And I don't think that's the healthiest thing. I see people's health diminish when they don't move enough and they don't move their bodies enough and they don't use their minds enough. I think continuing to use our brain is what's keeping us vibrant and aging in that pro age fashion, because we think differently than our grandparents did. We think much differently than they do. Do you agree?
I agree because to me, and it's not that they disagreed, Augie. It's they did not have all the knowledge of information available to them. All they had was the encyclopedias and a dictionary, or the Dr. Thompson's little book of remedies or whatever. They didn't have the whole um, digital world and everything opened up to learn and grow from and look things up. So it's to me, it's mind, body, and spirit, which is a connection. So we have to use all, in order to stay, involved.
Yes, I agree. And that's just like, when I think about what's the overview, what's the whole premise is, go beyond go beyond your
Comfort
thought
zone.
process of what do I enjoy doing? I've now set up an area. This is my little studio area. I love to do art projects. Do things you enjoy. Make yourself do them, because you can slip away into kind of like, especially if you had something traumatic happen to you, you tend to kind of slip away a little bit. You got to pull yourself back into the joyful things that are pleasurable to do, that keep your brain active. I like doing puzzles on my iPad. It makes me think. And word games, it makes me think. Use your brain. We need to continue to do critical thinking as we age. If we don't, we tend to then age rapidly. We diminish. We stop thriving. And there's no reason for that. Our friends, our family, our children, our grandchildren, they want us to thrive. They enjoy us. They
Mhm.
they really, I mean, my grandkids, I know your grandkids, they love to be with you. We are the purveyors of wisdom.
Mhm.
We have so much to give, and we have so much to share. And I want to keep that in the forefront. That's my intention.
That's awesome.
Live your best life. Enjoy your friends now. That saying is like, you could be here today, gone tomorrow. It's getting more prevalent as we age. A few months ago, I got the news that my first boyfriend that I was ever crazy madly in love with in junior high passed away. It was heart-wrenching.
Mm-hmm.
He had a family that he left behind. He had prostate cancer. Here today, gone tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't prepared for that. You don't know. Same with Jay. Those things happen. So every day matters. Every moment matters. Enjoy all the moments because all the moments matter. At least they do to me.
Yes, I have a little saying, and I don't always say it exactly the same way every time, but the basic is you were gifted the opportunity to wake up and get up. When you go to that door of today, it could possibly be the Grim Reaper, or it could be the door of opportunity. So you don't know when your last moment is. And that's why it is so important. Something that I preach and preach and preach is that it's so important to live in the moment and to make the best use of what is now. Not so much, don't think so much about the past. Try not to think and go too far into the future, and just enjoy the moment, because it is a gift that you got up, you woke up, you're participating, you're doing stuff. And I think that when you say enjoy your best life ever or whatever, yeah, it's when you think about it, that's really huge. It's huge, and we should all be more um, aware of that. These moments add up and they count.
I agree. And helping your children and your grandchildren live their best life and make them aware of this is their best life, because many things have become superficial. And I'm not even going to go down that lane, but like not being happy with your body, not being happy with who you are, like just bad messages. So that when you're dwelling on that, you're not living your best life.
Right,
And
negativity versus positivity. And also, I think
yes,
another thing, Augie, is we tend, and I'm really bad about it, is you can very, very easily get into your comfort zone. That's a 2-year old all the way up to a teenager, all the way up to a 40-year-old, and all the way up to a 100-year-old. You can easily get into your comfort zone. And I just say, get out of your comfort zone, because where you need to be is in the growth zone. So it's
yes,
comfortable, it's warm, it's cozy. You're reading a book, but hopefully you're reading a book that you grow from, you learn from, because I think that's part of us. As how can we teach the knowledge if we don't get the knowledge and understand the knowledge? And yes, we need to be providing that to our families and our children.
I agree. And I as I move forward with this, I feel like it will come to me. As you said that, I started thinking a whole nother facet is planning. Oh, this is the hard part. We will no longer be here, and we will be leaving behind things we own, property. It's so important to do that. A lot of people like me, okay? Ray and I just did it. We finally met with an estate attorney. She will be one of my guests. We met with a retirement planning specialist. She will be my guest on July 30th. That is Lori Perry, and we met with her. So planning for long-term care. I mean, you don't even want to think about it, but we're aging and we need assistance, and you have a sister that's going through this. The planning part of things is hard too. We're not living our best life when we're avoiding it.
Correct.
We're not, because you're avoiding it. Anything you're avoiding is niggling at the back of your mind. So therefore, you are troubled by that. You
Correct.
know you should do it, but you're not doing it because it's uncomfortable. It's not scary even. It's just uncomfortable.
Right.
And when you're like me and you married someone who they have children and I have children, you got to plan for that all properly, and that's uncomfortable. I adore my husband. I love Ray, but it was kind of talking about all that stuff with the lawyer. And we've been together for 7 years. I mean, you and Steve are a lot longer, but it's something you have to do, and you have to go through those points of discomfort to prepare, because then I wrote a post about it which went crazy, and one of my friends said, "Please listen to her, because I was left with somebody that didn't do that, and it's a nightmare."
It is.
Know that. We will be talking about this in depth. This is highlights. I'm talking about when we're covering it, but we're covering it like so surface level. I'm going to go deep, girl. I'm going to go deep
Yay.
because we need to go deep. And I know you love
I
that.
love that.
You love deep, and I know that from knowing you for so many years. It's important to go deep. People tend to not go deep, not because of fear as much as discomfort. It's discomfort. It's uncomfortable to talk about the things that are hard, but you got to do it. And if you need a little nudge, I'm going to give you one.
Awesome.
I can't make you do it, but I can certainly bring it to light and help you think about it maybe in a different perspective. That once you do it, it really wasn't as scary as you thought it was going to be. And if you go to a professional, they make sure it's done the right way.
Yeah, and I think you, Augie, can even kind of put a twist on it. I honestly think if people will listen to you, you know, you're honest and open and raw and just, real. And I know what you experienced, some of your highlights of experiencing doing that. And now, kind of after it's all over with and said and done, and it's like you're so happy y'all did it and it's done, and you feel so good about it and you're happy about it. And you can even giggle about a few things, like when you gave those eye rolls a while ago about, I don't know if I want to talk in front of a like that, But it's true. I mean, like you can put that twist of, you know what? It's hard, it's difficult, it's deep, but still there can just be a little bit of fun involved in there. You could tell yourself, girl, you get through this and it's all going to be okay. You could still put a little fun in there somehow, even when you're going through the most difficult things.
So I'm going to wrap it up because I don't want this to be War and Peace. I could go on and on and on and on and on, and I intend to every other week. For right now, Sarah, I'm going to be doing this podcast every other week until I really get down the nuances of more of the technical aspects of things, because it has to be processed. It has to be gone through multiple programs to get it distributed properly. And I decided to live my best life. I can't be doing it too frequently because then it becomes a pressure and not a joy anymore. And I want this to be a joyful experience for me. So every other week until further notice, because I plan to go weekly at some point. At least that's my intention now. And that could change. I'm a woman. I'm allowed to change my mind. But my intention is now to do it every other week. So I really appreciate you coming on with me, Sarah, to talk about some of the tough stuff. I think this was a great first episode. And my guest, again, will be Lori Peary, and she'll be talking about retirement planning, long-term planning, things of that nature. And don't forget to get Sarah's guide at boomerbytespodcast.com. And I look forward to joining me again. I'm Augie Anderson, the host of the Boomer Bytes podcast that focuses on you and you and you too living your best life.